Welcome, Soul Tribe, Lightworkers, and empaths. My name is Christina. I'm an integrative healing coach, medium, lightworker, empath, and highly sensitive individual. Welcome to this week's Kimono Therapy Ritual to Process Life. I want to demystify shadow work. The message that I want to share this week is how to heal your shadow and how light workers transform negative emotions into high vibe. So I really want to demystify in this message what shadow work is. And I'm going to give you tools that you can high vibe yourself to get out of those negative emotions. So in my past, in a particular relationship that I was in, we argued a lot and the yelling would escalate. So when this particular person started yelling, what did I end up doing? I started yelling back, and I found myself attempting to yell louder than that person. And obviously nothing got resolved. I'm ashamed to admit that that part of me actually existed. But what I ended up doing was to stop and take a moment to find out what the heck I was yelling about, why I was yelling. And I discovered in shadow work that that was a trigger. So there was something underlying the anger that was rising for me. And what I discovered was that it was a childhood trigger, feeling unheard. And growing up, I thought the louder I am, the more someone is going to hear me. But clearly that was not the case. So what I did was I eventually stopped reacting and took a moment to pause and sat with it, got in touch with it, and then ended up learning how to respond. So I realized it was a childhood trigger that was surfacing. And underneath that anger was sadness because I needed love and acknowledgement and I wasn't getting it. So shadow work turned that pain into insight and healing for me. So what is shadow work? I want to demystify what shadow work. A lot of people avoid it because they think it's some negative satanic thing, or we don't want to go there, right? We have light within us. We also have dark within us, and we need to be able to embrace our light and our darkness. And my experience has been, as well as what I've seen with my clients, is that when we tap into that shadow self, when we tap into those darker aspects of ourself, our light actually shines more. And so shadow work is bringing what we suppress into the light. It's like shining a light on it. I shone a light on my anger. What was this anger about? What was this anger to teach me? That's what shadow work is looking at what that emotion is, that negative emotion, putting light onto it. And our shadow self actually needs that, loves that, feels heard, feels validated. We're multidimensional. So it's not about erasing parts of ourselves, negative parts of ourselves, or ignoring it. It's about integrating those parts. And common shadow emotions are anger, jealousy, fear, shame, just to name a few. If there's a negative emotion that you're feeling in that moment, you're being triggered, that is your shadow self saying, hey, pay attention to me. So the benefits of light workers to tap into their shadow is that our light ends up shining brighter. We can be of greater service. We can see what others truly need to heal because we've seen it within ourselves. If we don't see those parts of ourselves, it's very difficult for us to see it in another person and to assist them on their healing journey. And we also experience a heightened sense of awareness. And we move closer to the soul work that we are meant to do on this planet and the lives that we are meant to touch, the people that end up coming towards us. I have found in my practice that the more shadow work that I have done, those people that are in need of that healing end up coming to me. And if we don't heal those parts of ourselves, we're actually stunting our own growth, but we're also stunting being of service. So there are 3 simple practices to shadow work that you can do. The first one is literally a journaling prompt where you actually have an experience. Let's say you have an experience with someone, you get into an argument with them, and you have an automatic reaction. It's difficult in that moment to go, oh, I'm having a reaction, I need to stop. This is where we shut down, right? Because it's an automatic thing that we do. So what you want to do is, if you can't catch yourself in that moment, stop and take a moment after and ask yourself, sit down and go, what emotion am I really feeling under this? I was feeling anger, but the true emotion when I sat with it was sadness, not being heard, not being validated. And when you do this journaling prompt, you want to sit for a moment, and actually, it's so simple. Just say to your shadow self, what was underneath that feeling? What was underneath that shame? You probably see a memory. You'll probably see an experience that you had. The shadow self has the answer and wants to be heard. That's why it keeps coming out. The second thing that is very powerful is it's called a mirror self dialogue. And what you do is you go into the bathroom and you look in the mirror and you say to yourself, I hear you, I see you, I love you, and I'm here for you. I recommend repeating that 7 times. Once you get to about the 4th or 5th, all of a sudden you'll feel this shift. You'll probably feel emotion. It's happened to me on many occasions. I see you, I hear you, I feel you, and I love you. Sometimes just acknowledging that, sometimes we want the other person to acknowledge it. Not going to happen. They're going through their own process. You acknowledging it towards yourself is so empowering, and your shadow self feels validated. The third thing that you want to do is a very simple breath and pause ritual. And that is, you put your hand on your heart, you take 3 deep breaths, and then you allow the feeling before reacting. I've done this in conversations with people where all of a sudden I'm like, uh-oh, I'm getting triggered. I will put my hand on my heart and I'll be like, yeah. And with the people close in my life, that they understand that, okay, she's having a moment. All right. So I'll just acknowledge it. So what I encourage you to do is literally start with just one of these tools this week to heal your shadow. It's not a race. It is a journey. Okay. And the more that you honor and validate that shadow part of yourself, the more your light's going to shine. So I would love for you to share in the comments below what shadow emotion that you intend on working on, or if you have already been working on. I would love to hear from you. This community would love to hear from you. And in next week's video, we're going to explore how to protect your energy from jealousy and ill intent of others as you rise into your light. And so before we end up closing this message this week, I want to anchor it with an affirmation for you, okay? So I want you to take a moment to place your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath with me. And you are going to say slowly to yourself out loud or in your mind with me, I embrace my shadow with love. The more I integrate all parts of myself, the brighter my light shines. And the more aligned I become with my true purpose. Let's take a moment. Thank you for joining me in this moment. Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification button so you continually receive these messages in your inbox. Share it with another fellow Lightworker empath that you feel could use this tool. All right, take care. Namaste. Much love. I will see you next week. Bye for now.